folks, welcome to another episode of Neo Geo Trio. This is episode 4. This is the show where we review 3 Neo Geo CD games every episode, and the first game reviewing is the Super Spy, so let's go. In the Super Spy, thousands of people have been murdered by a bombing incident in the subway, and it's up to the Super Spy to find out who's responsible and bring them to justice by kicking their butts. You would think the Super Spy would kind of play like a Rolling Thunder game, but it does not. Instead, it's a mix between Punch-Out and a beat-em-up. Unfortunately, it's just not as smooth. You get a variety of different weapons: your feet, your fists, a knife, and a gun, occasionally a machine gun, and from what I could tell there's a couple other weapons as well, but it's pretty much the main 4. You only use 3 buttons in this game. 1 is your punch, 1 is your kick, and 1 changes your weapon. And you have different options depending on what you're actually using. Now, about the controls. The controls in this game, you either move left or right, and occasionally up in order to get through a door or move through a hallway. You can also hold down to duck, and you can also hold the punch and kick button to perform a block. Unfortunately, it's a little hard to dodge attacks in this game. There's just not enough time from enemies to let you know their cue that they're going to hit you, so it's a lot of trial and error. Also, I just thought that the game played clunky. The controls are not as smooth as Punch-Out. The loading time for this game takes about 40 seconds to actually start the game up. Now, I don't know if the game is completely divided into stages because I really didn't get far enough, or if it just continues on. But the first loading chunk is about 40 seconds. Overall, I felt this game was clunky. Really, I didn't enjoy the music, and that may be because it's an early SNK game made in 1990, but I didn't like it very much. I give it a 2 out of 5. The next game we have lined up for you guys is Alpha Mission 2, which was released in 1991. It was available for the Neo Geo Arcade as well as the Neo Geo consoles. The original Alpha Mission launched in 1987. It was eventually ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System. Unfortunately, it didn't have much fanfare to it, and the sequel was received much better. So let's check out this game, Alpha Mission 2. So you launch from your mothership and Alpha Mission 2 begins. You make your way to attack an enemy space station and fight whatever lurks in it. The first thing you'll notice about this game is how awesome the sound effects are. The lasers and the explosions are very crisp and add to the game. The music is also very melodic and fun, which also adds to the game. Power-ups are gathered by grabbing either the L, M, or K, which does various upgrades to your ship, as well as a side option to increase the size and overall functionality of your ship. Getting a couple of these will allow you to do special attacks or shoot from the side, and give you special abilities such as being able to morph into multiple ships and do a super attack that hits everything on the screen. Now that we're done talking about the ship, let's talk about the vertical scrolling in this game. It is very slow. I wish they would have increased the speed of it and increased the overall speed of the enemies to make it a little bit more threatening. Also, enemy designs are very basic. The enemies on the background are circular and shoot the standard bullet at you, and the ship designs that you fight, well, there's just not much to them. The mini-bosses also don't have much of a design to them, which is also unfortunate. At least the bosses are cool, where they have multiple areas that you need to attack in order to destroy them. Overall, as good as the sound and music in this game is, it is a pretty generic shoot-'em-up and didn't really impress me very much. I also give this one a 2 out of 5 stars. One other thing I should mention is the loading time in Alpha Mission 2. Initially, you have about a 25-second load time at the beginning of the game, but after that, that's pretty much it. So, once it starts, it loads, and that's pretty much the end of it. I think it's mostly because the game itself is pretty small. Finally, our last game we have here on Neo Geo Trio Episode 4 is a classic series, and some actually prefer the Neo Geo CD version over the actual cartridge edition. This game is Metal Slug. Here we go. For a game that borrows a lot of elements from the Contra series, this game certainly is popular. It's available for a variety of platforms: PlayStation 2, PSP, Wii, Nintendo DS, both Xbox consoles, the Game Boy Advance, the Sega Saturn, the PlayStation, and of course the Neo Geo Arcade and the Neo Geo consoles. The gameplay itself is a running gun, similar to Contra. You pick up a variety of weapons to destroy your enemies. You start out with a handgun, can get a machine gun, a flamethrower, and even toss grenades to improve the amount of destruction that you can do upon the stage. You also get the Metal Slug, which is the staple of the series. It's a small little tank that you jump in to ride, and it's armed with one cannon as well as 2 other cannons. You can actually duck down, and this will allow you to get out of the hatch and toss grenades at people. There's also a special attack you can do to make you do a suicide dive and launch into enemies as you safely jump out. It's pretty fun. One awesome element of this game is the fact that it can be played co-op. This is really one of those games I wish would have came out when me and my little brother were younger. We would have enjoyed playing through this completely together. Another thing I love about the game is the environments. The environments, the graphics, and the stages are just excellent, and there's so much going on, it just makes for a very colorful environment. All the different enemy attacks and other things that you have to dodge, again, just add so much to it. It's such a fun game. This one I give a 4 out of 5. The Metal Slug original is awesome, and I'd highly recommend you try it out if you haven't played it. This has been another episode of Neo Geo Trio. Stay tuned for more, folks. Take it easy.